Hey guys, welcome back to Matlock's Toy Room Reviews, and today I have a Marvel Legends gift box set. This is the Fantastic Four set. One of them, I guess there's a couple of them. But, well, this is with the variant Invisible Woman. She's actually invisible, but she's kind of messed up. This box is pretty beat up. I got it for a decent price. She's a little bit yellowed. If you guys know, translucent figures oftentimes yellow if they're not taken care of properly in the right environment. This box looked like it was just chilling in a garage or something, so got the Thing. I was really wanting to get the Herbie and the Franklin Richards, but a very cool box set. Don't really need all these figures. I've already got, 7 Human Torches and 5 Doctor Dooms and 5 Things and everything, but I got it for a decent price, so I figured I'd go ahead and pick it up. It was actually my second box set. I have the House of M box set, and then this one. On the back here you got Franklin Richards, got his statistics, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, the Thing, and Doctor Doom. Very cool. It's got a little bio here. You guys can read that. And it also has a poster book included, and then just shows some of the pictures that are going to be in that. This was made by Toy Biz in 2004. I'm not sure about the original retail price on this thing, but nowadays it's pretty expensive online. But you get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big figures and then a couple little characters, a picture books, a flight stand, some other stands. So, it's pretty cool. I'd say it's worth it. But anyways, let's take a quick break and we'll get all these guys out of the package. Alright guys, and we have them out of the package. First off, the poster book it comes with. Very cool. I would prefer a comic, but the poster book's cool. It's just I don't really know what to do with it. I'm not going to tear it up and put the pictures on my wall or anything. But it's got a lot of nice artwork and different cool pictures in it and stuff. So it's cool, but I would definitely prefer a comic. At least just be able to read an old school comic or something. Comes with these different display stands. Doom has this one. Has the D and it's all cracked up and stuff. Got 2 pegs there. And then for the 4 Fantastic Four characters, you have these, have the 4, and then it has the 2 pegs on them. And then Franklin doesn't have anything. But and then it comes with a flight stand. I thought that was kind of weird, seeing as how not a single one of these figures has a peg hole in their back. It's kind of curious. I thought maybe the ball had a hole, but it just has these little tiny holes. The only thing I can think of that this flight stand is for, maybe, is on the bottom of Herbie he has a little peg, or a hole. The hole doesn't really match up perfectly, but you can kind of get him in there. I could probably force it in there a little more, but then you just have him floating on top of this giant flight stand. So I'm not too sure that that's what it's supposed to be for. If anybody has this box set and really knows what it's for, let me know, because not a single one of these figures has a peg hole in their back. Invisible Woman has what looked like was supposed to be a peg hole, but it's not a hole. So yeah, kind of curious about that. And also the ball, which is pretty cool. Like it's Mr. Fantastic turned into a rubber ball, which I thought was just a genius idea to include. Thought that's really awesome. One thing I would prefer is if this was actually like a bouncy ball. It's just like a hard plastic ball. But I think it'd be really fun if it was actually like a super bouncy ball or something, Thought that would have been pretty neat. Let's go ahead and start with 2 of the characters that I really wanted the set for. First off being Herbie. That was the only way you're going to get a Herbie. Very cool. He's got the 4 there. Very awesome. See if my camera will focus there. Very cool. Don't think he has any articulation at all except for just his head swivels back and forth. There's 3 legs. And like I said, the hole there might be for that flight stand or for whatever, I guess. But I'm not too sure on that one. Let's take a look at Franklin Richards, which again is going to be the only way you're going to get a hold of this guy. Very cool. Lighthouse is 4.5. That's awesome. Very cool. It's kind of a odd shape, but you know, I mean, it's not like they use this little tiny body mold very often. I don't even know if they ever use it on anything else except for him. Articulation, he has a swivel in the neck, ball jointed shoulder, swivel in the waist, ball jointed hips, and that's it. He does have peg holes on his feet, which is cool. Although he didn't come with a stand, you can use just a regular figure stand for him if you want. But those 2 are probably the main reason I bought this set. I probably got those 2 online for pretty cheap, but I went ahead and bought the set because it was a decent price, and I figured, what the hell. Onto the Thing. I'm not really big on that first appearance look of his head. I don't really like that head sculpt. Those big eyebrows and the big gorilla chin and everything. It looks cool, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It's just not what I know as Thing. But onto his body. The detail and the sculpting and everything on this guy is awesome. This is probably my favorite just like body sculpt. It's not the best proportionate, not the best articulated, not the best anything really, except for just the sculpt is really cool. It just really looks like rock. All these lines are actually sculpted, they're like carved in. Got nice paint wash throughout him. He just looks like stone to me, and that looks awesome. Got a nice shine on it. It's very cool. Articulation on him. He has a, it's like a ball pin jointed head. It doesn't really go back and forward very well. Ball jointed shoulders, and he has those stupid back joints that kind of pop out just to give him that extra. If he wanted to do the Hulk thunderclap or something, he can get his hands together a little better. It looks pretty crappy from the back though, but I mean, it's not that bad. He has a single jointed elbow and just a swivel in the wrist, and looks like his thumb has this weird articulation where it shoots out, and then his other fingers are individually articulated. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember any of the other Thing figures having just 3 fingers. That's cool. That's just an observational thing that I probably missed. But he's got individual finger joints and then the thumb. Very cool. Great hands. Really like that. Makes some really cool fists. Awesome. He's got a pretty nice torso joint. Goes back and forward and swivels and whatever. And he has a waist articulation as well. So that's awesome. He has both of those. In the hips, he goes back and forward, but not in and out at all, which is pretty crappy. Just a single jointed knee, back and forward pivot at the foot, as well as side to side, and he has toe joints. So his feet are pretty solid. I like those feet. Like I said, the head sculpt's really not my favorite, and those hips not being able to move, lack of double jointed knees and elbows, are probably the biggest complaints, and I guess if you want to complain about those things on his back. But the body itself is awesome looking. The sculpt and paint and everything just looks sick. Definitely a big fan of that. And his sheer size is really nice as well. Let's go ahead and just go take a look at Doom. Very awesome. And this cape is removable, of course. Very nice cape. I believe this has been used on another Doctor Doom as well. Very cool. It's actually got a nice wash on it. It looks like solid black through my camera, but it's got a cool wash where it's kind of like dark gray and black and whatever. But it's a soft rubber. Looks pretty cool. Make for a good hood custom. Very awesome. And onto the figure. It's a very cool mask. Like the detail on that head, and the mask is removable. You got his messed up looking face. His eyes are actually pretty detailed. That's cool. And it actually clips on pretty well too. It holds on pretty solid, which I was worried about because sometimes that kind of stuff just doesn't really hold on as well as it should. He also comes with a pistol. It's got bent up, but it's got nice detail. It's got a nice wash on it. Makes it look like old steel. Very awesome. Just overall pretty decent looking figure. And the silver's not the best. I've seen better Dr. Dooms as far as that goes with the wash and everything. But it's not bad. It's a little plain to look at, I guess. It's got a little paint muck up from the hood or whatever. Not really too sure what these things are on his back. So he's got like packing some grenades or something. Not really sure what that is. But very cool. Articulation. He has one of those weird jointed necks where on top it's a ball peen joint, but then the neck itself, you can see it actually swivels around down at the bottom as well. Those neck joints always freak me out. They're kind of weird to work with. Not the best. But it's got nice ball jointed shoulders, a swivel at the bicep, a single jointed elbow, and a swivel in the wrist. And it looks like he has finger joints, but just all 4 fingers are on one joint. And this one he's pointing his other hand, he's kind of making a fist. No torso joint. And looks like he's supposed to have a ab turn, but it's really crappy. It's kind of stuck and doesn't really move very well. I don't know what kind of motion you're supposed to get out of it, but it's turning really weird. It's not just turning straight, it looks like it kind of rocks a little too. His shirt is kind of a softer rubber, so you can move it around a little bit. But he has those crappy leg joints, which is just like Human Torch, which I'll show you here in just a minute what his are like, so you can get a better idea of that. But a swivel at the hip, single jointed knee, back and forward pivot at the foot, side to side pivot, and toe joints. So he's got some good lower leg articulation. But very cool looking Doom. Very awesome. Got way too many Dooms, way too many things, and way too many Human Torches. But figured what the hell, I picked the set up anyway. And on to the Invisible Woman, which is a little discolored. Her her torso, I'm sure you can see a hint of pink, which it kind of is for some reason. I'm not sure. It's got like this weird pinkish color. And then the legs and arms and the head are kind of this odd yellowish tint to it. And this is a very common thing for, you know, white or clear translucent figures. They get smoke damage real easy if people smoke or whatever, or if you leave them in your garage or in an attic or whatever. The heat and everything just gets to these figures really bad. So you have to be, you know, take special care of these. A lot of these are going to be messed up over the years. So I imagine the clear versions of figures are going to be probably the rarest to have, you know, mint condition ones. You know, even when they're sealed in the package, they tend to get screwed up, so you never know. But this seems like it actually would be a pretty cool figure if it wasn't screwed up. Got a pretty good body mold. Her legs aren't all thin like most of the female figures, but she's actually got some meat on her bones. Just how I like my women. But it's a pretty good figure. Very awesome. And there is a, you know, this is the variant. There is the regular painted version of this figure, which I believe is the exact same body mold, just painted. So if you get the other box set of this one. Articulation, she has a really nice up and down joint, ball joint at her neck, and swivels around, of course. Ball jointed shoulders, swivel at the upper bicep, double jointed elbows, swivel in the mid forearm there, and then a back and forward pivot at the wrist, and all 4 of her fingers are on the single joint. And she just makes some basic hands. She can make a fist or, you know, kind of a grabbing motion. It's not bad. Up and down torso joint, swivel at the waist, and her hips are kind of these weird ass hips that don't really work very well. They should definitely use ball joints on these things. They kind of get this up and down motion, but they really don't go up as far as they should. Get a little bit out, but if you actually look at the inside mechanism, you can see it doesn't work as well as it should. They should use regular ball joints on there. Swivel at the upper thigh, double jointed knees, swivel at the calf, back and forward pivot at the foot, as well as a nice side to side pivot. And she has toe joints, of course, and peg holes on the bottom of her feet. It's very awesome. Like I said, probably not a bad figure if you got one that's not, bleached or screwed up color-wise. On to Reed Richards. Very cool figure. Got a nice head sculpt there. It's not the best, but it's pretty cool. I like how he comes with the lab coat, which I didn't actually even realize it until I pulled it out of the package that he had this lab coat on. It's not the best lab coat or anything. It's just a, cloth, but it's pretty cool. Got his regular outfit. Nothing too special with him. He doesn't have any extendable arms or anything. Articulation, he has a nice ball jointed head. He has the protruding ball shoulders, so they kind of stick out. And he even has that shoulder joint that goes in and out. He has ball jointed shoulders, swivel at the upper arm. Can't really tell if he has double jointed elbows or not. I didn't feel like taking the jacket off. Swivel in the wrist, or back and forward pivot in the wrist, and all four of his fingers are on joint. He's got up and down torso joint, swivel at the waist, nice ball jointed hips, double jointed knees. Looks like a swivel at the top of the boot. Back and forward pivot at the foot, side to side pivot, and toe joints. So most of these figures are pretty well articulated, aside from that thing. So very awesome, Mr. Fantastic there. And let's go on to the Human Torch, which this is the variant Human Torch. Like I said, with the variant Invisible Woman, if you get the other box set, you get the other version where he's just painted. He's not this clear red translucent, which I actually like this one better. That's still not my favorite Human Torch at all, but it's okay. It's this really crappy torso joint though. This one's kind of screwed up, so I'll get into that in just a second. But he's got like the painted lines. Kind of looks like the Series 2 Human Torch, with the lines and everything. Naturally, this one's red translucent instead of just painted, but he's got the fire on him, which I haven't really compared with the Series 2. It might be a lot more similar because it has the fire on the arms, I believe, as well. But get onto his face, if it'll focus there. You see his eyes are kind of red, which is kind of cool. And he's got that really crappy neck joint, which I'll get into that. I hate those things. But a pretty cool figure. Now I figured out of all the figures he was going to have a peg hole in the back for that flight stand, but he didn't, so I thought that was kind of unusual. Articulation, he has a just on a ball pin right there. It doesn't go up and down at all. And then the neck can kind of swivel as well. Or actually, this one doesn't even seem to swivel. It's just kind of sitting on top of that long tube. Guess he's wearing a huge turtleneck. But ball jointed shoulders, swivel at the upper bicep, double jointed elbows, a swivel right there in the mid forearm, back and forward pivot at the wrist, and all four of his fingers are on a single joint. And his torso joint really pisses me off. It's got that standard rocking torso joint where it rocks and swivels back and forth, but this one like pulls forward. I like have to click it back. See that? How it just kind of clicks into place, but then it just kind of springs forward, which really pisses me off. I don't know why it does that. Never seen one do that before. Then he has a swivel in the waist, which he doesn't want to swivel, I guess, but he does swivel in the waist. And this is the joint I was going to show you. Like Dr. Doom, he's got these crappy joints. They go in and out pretty well, so you can do this karate kick, but really that's about all the good movement you get out of him. I guess you can kind of set him down. If you want him to get in a sitting pose, he sits okay. But definitely don't really like those joints. Don't really move around as well as I'd like them to. There's a nice swivel in the thigh, double jointed knees, swivel in the calf, back and forward pivot at the foot, side to side pivot, and toe joints. So well articulated, like I said. See, with those hip joints, you really can't pull his legs in anymore. He's got to stand like that. But at least they included the the side to side pivot at the feet, so you can at least flatten his feet out. So that's cool. That damn torso joint really pisses me off, though. Like I said, I've never seen one do that before. This is kind of odd. But anyways, definitely a cool pack to pick up. If you find it for a good price. Or even if you don't have all the characters. For me, it wasn't one that I'd go out of my way to get just because, I've got multiples of each character. But, if you don't have, any of these figures or whatever, it's definitely a pack to pick up. It's actually pretty nice. Especially if you can find it for a good price. So anyways, that was the Fantastic Four box set. Thanks for checking it out, guys.